Let's come back to the company and the products, just to lay out the tapestry here. Stable Diffusion is one product vertical area. Yes. What are the other ones?
So, for example, our Luther AI community has GPT-Neo and X. It's the open source version of GPT-3 by OpenAI. Mm-hmm. The most popular open language model in the world. It's been downloaded 25 million times.
Incredible.
And so can you take it, you customize it for yourself, no permission needed, right? Harmony has Dance Diffusion, which is the most advanced audio model in the world. You'll be able to create your music, so you put your own music in it, and then you have your own music model that can create more music of your style.
And you can just basically produce your own concerts, extrapolate in any direction you want.
Exactly. We have OpenBioML, where we kind of have OpenFold and LibreFold, protein folding, DNA diffusion for DNA protein matching, and BioLM for, again, some protein kind of stuff.
So, we've spent some time talking about a passion that I have and you share, which is the ability to truly transform the healthcare industry and human longevity, understanding why we age, maybe why we don't have to.
I think the why is the important part, right? Most of medicine, so again, when my son was diagnosed and scratching at Walter's fingernails bled, eventually went to mainstream school thanks to interventions.
And I want to come back to those, for those who are listening who have a child with autism or know someone. I want to come back afterwards. What were your learnings and what's your advice?
Yeah, there's a lot in this space that we kind of occupy,
of course.
But what I realized is that conventional medicine and a lot of things view humans as a Gerdic. 1,000 tosses of a coin is the same as 1,000 coins tossed at once. Mm-hmm. Coins tossed at once. But humans are individual. So, for example, a good proportion of humans have a cytochrome P450 mutation in their liver, which means they metabolize things like fentanyl and opioids far quicker. Yeah. It's a very simple S&P test, but we don't do it. So we just prescribe everyone the same thing, and then a bunch get addicted. Because we are individualistic kind of creatures. This is why I went to the first principles thinking kind of approach on this. Mm-hmm. And the question is, this personalized medicine thing has always been kind of out there. We've not been able to reach it. Again, I think the technology we have right now enables personalized medicine. We've seen things like CRISPR, obviously, and others. But more than that, it's about data availability and viability.
We do need to get to a point where every child at birth is sequenced, and that is plugged into their personal AI, and they understand exactly how every food, every medicine, and every aspect of our living affects our physiology.
Again, you go to the future and you bring back the AI with you and you say, what should it look like? Mm-hmm. So you take a whole country and you say, how do we build an amazing healthcare system, education system, etc.? Well, is there any doubt that healthcare and education will have AI at the core in 20 years? Zero.
Well, I think it's not 20 years, it's 10 years.
I know, but let's just say 20 years.
Fine. Okay.
You and me, we're like, now. Let's say 20 years, right? But then is that AI open or closed?
Yeah.
And is it better for it to be open or closed?
Yeah, there's no question. Open is fundamentally critical.
Open is fundamentally critical because then we build, it is infrastructure, it is valuable. Like the way that I actually orient my rights, Vinay Gupta is one of the Ethereum guys, I think you probably know him, big thinker, crazy. He had a very great conceptualization of rights, which I agree with, which is the rights of children. And so, like effective altruism and all of that, looking at people a million years in advance, is kind of difficult. Mm-hmm. And it comes down to utilitarianism and all sorts of weird stuff.
But the rights of a child.
The rights of a child today.
Yes.
Today. What does that child have the right to? Achieving their potential.
Yes.
What infrastructure do we need to give that child in a refugee camp or in Brooklyn or in Kensington to help them achieve their potential?
And this goes back to what's on your website in terms of using AI to help, in this case, a child, and in the broader case, humanity, achieve its potential. I mean, that's everything.
Yeah, and so for me, it's about, I've oriented that on agency and happiness. And it sounds fuzzy, but it's literally when you have the tools to be able to do anything, you can do anything. People underestimate their agency. Sometimes you've got to go for your shot, as it were. Yeah. But again, it's information thing. What information can I bring to that person? What tools can I give them so that they can be creative? Because we lose that creative spark as we get older, right?
Yeah.
Now it's coming back a bit, What can I give them so they can access the information they need to be educated? And what's the optimal way to teach linear algebra?
And by the way, it's all about play.
It's all about play.
It is all about play. happiness, play, all the neurochemistry of your brain is maximized for learning, retention, experimentation around that.
It's flow.
It's flow. Yes.
So I used to be a video game investor. That was my big sector. It was one of the biggest in the world. And I used to judge video games by time to fun, flow, and frustration. And so if we're building systems for humanity, we have to look at fun, flow, and frustration. Because if we can get those, when you're just learning something like, wow, this is amazing, and you get in there, it absorbs amazingly quickly. But our education system is not set up for that. Our healthcare system definitely isn't. Man, you've got a messed up healthcare system. I would say.
Oh my gosh,
it's maximizing for frustration.
Yeah, that's what I speak about it openly, saying my mission is to crumble and destroy the healthcare system, and also the education system, which is really sad.
So again, it's very interesting. You look at the U.S. and inflation numbers, education and healthcare, massive inflation.
Yes.
Everything else, not really.
Yeah, it's the percentage of the person's income it should be going to zero, right? The top healthcare and the top education should be all AI driven. It's all basically the cost of electrons.
Life expectancy is falling in the US.
A little bit over the last couple of years due to COVID, yeah.
Yeah, but no, before
suicide.
COVID. Before COVID, it was falling.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the thing. Whereas, again, it's not complicated, but it does require coordination. So the question is, can you create Schelling points? So for me, open source software, this next generation, this model-based one, whereby Stable Diffusion is basically a programming primitive. Just like you have a library to do various things for the programmers out there. So in the good old days when we started programming, we used to have to code everything by hand. Now you've got GitHub and things like that. It's more like playing with Lego, right?
Yes.
And you're sticking it all together. It's a new type of thing. A 1.6 gigabyte file that is hashed, so it can be common across every single computer in the world, that you can call something in and an image comes out. And you know predictably what that is, no matter where you are. And you can also take an image and put text on the other way.
Yeah.
That changes the paradigm. But then what if you have that for language or audio?
Like and subscribe for more.